This plaque on the south side of Highway 18, about 5k west of Oxbow, tells us that old Alameda was just down south there near the confluence of Moose Creek and the Souris River. James Walsh closed his post office in the mid-1890s after other offices that opened nearby. One of those offices was over at Oxbow yonder on the other side of the Moose Creek Valley here. This was a major spillway draining Glacial Lake Regina and Glacial Lake Arcola south into the Missouri system. The rail line belongs to the CPR. It took the company about a year to complete a trestle bridge over Moose Mountain Creek just to the south of us here. The service commenced on this line in the summer of 1892. The dam here was completed in 1993. Backs up Alameda Reservoir, which reaches up the Moose Creek Valley about 10 miles. When British settlers began arriving in this area in 1882, there was no wood. So consequently, a lot of construction was either sod or fieldstone, this example being just to the east of Highway 9 at Alameda. And east of town on Township Road 40 on the way to the new dam site is the cemetery to which the graves from old Alameda were removed when that site was abandoned in the 1890s. The first oil well was drilled in this neighborhood in 1942, reaching down 4,500 feet to what is now known as the Bakken Well. Since that time, some 38,000 holes have been drilled in this neighborhood. Well, it's getting on towards lunchtime this Friday, May 20th, 2016, and we are at Alameda, Saskatchewan. A lovely, breezy spring day, southeast corner of Saskatchewan. This is Canadian Pacific's Estevan sub from the main line at Kemnay, Manitoba through to Estevan. The first scheduled train likely arrived here on August the 1st, 1892. First elevators were up by 1899, and there were 5 on the other side of the tracks there come 1903, plus 2 warehouses. Dominion, Lake of the Woods, Northern, Alameda Farmers and Trading, Imperial Elevator and Lumber Company, Saskatchewan Wheat Pool, built in 1927 and closed in 1999. This is the old Viterra's, now Richardson Pioneer, built around the old Imperial Elevator. Facing Elevator Row on Railway Avenue, now called First Avenue, there's the Co-op Building Supplies store. Co-op was organized in 1948. Alameda is the headquarters of the RM of Moose Creek number 33, which was incorporated January the 1st, 1911. And the shops facing Railway Avenue are First Avenue now. I don't know when Alameda decided to change the names of its streets and avenue. And looks like an antique Richardson grader, maybe. As we saw on that old plaque down off Highway 18, the post office named Alameda was established on December the 1st, 1883 by James Walsh. I'm not sure when the office moved into town here, but it ended up in J.J. Heaslip's Crown Hardware, which was built right on the corner here in 1892, one of the first buildings in town, and burned up in a big fire. As we've seen, Alameda is Spanish for copse of trees, and embracing the Spanish theme is the old Esso station on the corner of 5th Street, Main Street, and Railway Avenue here. I think it was built sometime during the 40s or maybe even 30s. And looking back down Main Street to the new fire hall, this is where the station stood right here, the first one being Plan A-10-12-5, built in 1892. At mile 121.9 on the Estevan sub, it was replaced in 1927 by a Standard Western Lines A3 station, which was sold off in 1972. There's the town office. The village of Alameda was incorporated on December the 20th, 1898, and it became a town on April the 15th, 1907. There's the old fire hall and the Alameda Hotel. And we're looking southeast here because the Manitoba Southwestern Colonization Railway laid out the town site perpendicular to its rail line. Lots were open for sale on September the 16th, 1892. And there he stands, keeping watch over Main Street. The monument was dedicated on June the 1st, 1924, and there's 24 names. On the corner of 2nd Avenue and 4th Street. New pavement and sidewalks were installed on Main Street in 1981. This is the west side. The Northern Crown Bank building used to stand here. First bank in town was taken over by the Royal Bank in 1918, which closed in February of 1933. Here's the library. Established in 1902, this present building dates from January of 1961. Right across the street is the former Methodist church, all in modern Gothic, dedicated November 1907. This is the back of it. It was one of 4 churches in town. St. Pancras Anglican was opened in 1913, but has faded away. Peace Lutheran was dedicated on June 12, 1960, but closed in 1993. And the Presbyterian Church stands where the Legion now does. It was built in 1902. Just north of the United Church is this simplified Queen Anne style house, now the museum, built in 1905 by Walter Woods. And panning up to look north up Main Street, the Alameda Hotel, built by the Board of Trade to replace the American Hotel, and the Brighton Boarding House, which were both lost to the Great Fire of December the 5th, 1907. The population of Alameda is up to 369 this census year of 2016. And there are quite a few lovely old homes in this town. Oh, fly away, you noisy little grackle. East side of Main, 5th Street. And up there is the monument to the pioneers, dedicated in the Jubilee year of 1955. This event was not reported in the Alameda Dispatch newspaper. Its first edition was December the 22nd, 1901, but it closed in 1948. And here's a miniature replica of the 4-classroom school. It was dedicated on December 1st, 1909. It replaced a 2-story, 2-classroom building that was frame built in the early part of the century, and it itself was replaced by this building, which was dedicated on January the 4th, 1954. The school buildings are on the site as far west as you can go on 2nd Avenue. And nearby are the rinks, the curling rink and the skating rink, which were erected in 1965 to replace the 1920s structure. And on the far east end of town, on the old agricultural exhibition grounds, the Ball Diamonds. And it looks like they've got a game going today. In 1897, a sizable contingent of ethnic Germans from Michigan arrived in this area, possibly brought the American love of the game with them. Looks like they're just getting set to go. The Great Fire of December the 5th, 1907 started late on a Thursday evening behind the King Brothers Butcher's shop, destroyed the American Hotel, the Brighton Boarding House, a livery barn, R.L. Gibson store, post office, Crown Lumber and Hardware, Hopper Brothers store, Cronk and McDowell's Machinery, Farmer's Elevator and Trading Company hardware store. The entire block, bounded by Railway Avenue and 2nd Avenue between 5th Street and 4th Street, went up in flames and resulted in the formation of the Fire Brigade in 1909 in Alameda, Saskatchewan.